Okay folks, we've learnt that this is the formula that will help us to find the volume of a sphere. But the information we've got to have about a sphere so that we can find its volume is the radius. So out of the box, this is a formula for the volume of the sphere. That's the subject of the formula, which is volume. And the information we need for this formula to work is the radius. Now, inevitably, we're going to turn this round, and instead of asking you to calculate the volume, we're going to ask you to calculate the radius if you know the volume. So let's have a look at an example of that. So here we are, that is supposed to be a sphere. It's got a volume of 500. The question is, what is the radius? So this approach should be becoming familiar now. We write out the formula, 4/3 times pi times r cubed gives us the volume. It's worth mentioning with formula there are two kinds of terms in formula. These are constants because they're constantly the same. Whenever we use this formula for a sphere, it's 4/3. Whenever we use pi, it's the same value. Whereas this is a variable because it varies from question to question. You can imagine doing a page of these in the textbook. These would stay the same each time. This would be different. So, what do we know? That's not changing. That's 3.14 something, as it always is. That's what we've got to find this time. And we know that this is 500. So there we are. We've filled in what we know. And we're left with all numbers except for one letter, which means we can find that letter. And the first stage would just be to combine these together to make things a wee bit easier for ourselves. So 4/3 times pi. That gives us that, which is 4.1888. So, I'm not going to write the whole number down because remember we can rely on the calculator to remember that for us. So the dots mean and it goes on. So that times pi r cubed gives us 500. So roughly 4r cubed is 500. So thinking about this, r cubed would be about 125. Oh, and it just so happens 5 cubed is 125. So our answer is going to come out to be about 5 here. Let's see what it is exactly. R cubed is 500 divided by that number, which is stored in the calculator, 1887 and so on. Thank goodness for that answer button. So 500 divided by our previous answer gives us that. So r cubed is 119.3662 and so on. I'm not writing the whole of that number down. Now that's r cubed. We want to find r, so we need to do a cube root here. We need to ask the question, what would you cube to get that number? So r is going to be the cube root, and the sign for cube root, it's like a square root, but with a little 3 on it to show that we're looking at a cube root. So the cube root of 119.3662, whoops. So if we do that on the calculator, get the calculator out, shift, and this calculator it's above square root, it might be somewhere else in yours, or you might have to actually type the 3 in. So square root of, again, previous answer is, there we are, it's 4.9, so 5 wasn't a bad guess. So r is 4.9237 and so on. Glancing over at the question, we only want it to 2 significant figures, so the radius of a sphere with a volume of 500 to 2 significant figures would be 4.9 centimetres. There we are, we're done in that one. Thank you for listening.